pharmacist Chase Myers.
Lowry Drug is a source for excellent pharmacy services. We have served the Statesville community since 1959. We have attentive customer service, a state-of-the-art compounding laboratory, and the Dispill medication packaging system that takes the work out of medication management for those using medication planners. We do it for you. Come see us at Lowry Drug in Statesville. Call 704-873-2247. Come see us.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Welcome to Community Centered, a show that features people in the community doing good things. Now, here are your hosts, Debbie O'Handley and Margi Kyle.
Welcome to WSIC News Talk Now. My partner and dear friend, Debbie, is spending the afternoon with her mom. I think they're having a little prom day today. So, Debbie, if you can, call in. We'd love to hear from you. And I want to thank our sponsor, McIntosh Local Legal Law Firm in Davidson. Thank you for not only sponsoring us, but all you do in this community. And if you would like to call in with a question, 844-STUDIO-4. My guest today, I have met several times, and I'm very intrigued with what Rebecca Peacock does. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
Director of Mecklenburg County Crisis Response. Wow. That's got to be a heavy job.
Some days it is, yes.
Yeah. And are any 2 days ever alike?
No, definitely not. So I think when you come into work that day or come on shift, you never really know what you're going to get into.
So you have to come with a very open mind.
Yeah. Well, being the director, I get to do fun things like this. You know, my team is who's out there in the field,
I like that.
fielding these calls. Yeah.
Now, what's your background? What did you study to become a crisis response director?
Yeah. So I have a master's in social work. So
Okay.
I knew kind of from a young age that I wanted to help people, right? Everybody wants to help people.
Yes.
But
well, you hope they do.
yeah, well, that's true. But I didn't really know what that meant. So I kind of bounced the ideas of like psychology or psychiatry and then ended up with social work. So I have my bachelor's in social work, and with your BSW, you kind of really need to go on to get your master's. It really opens up the opportunity. So then I moved from the Midwest to New York and got a graduate degree, master's in social work from Columbia University.
Oh my gosh. Great school.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
Yeah. My dad went there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. And then I started applying for jobs. You know, when you get into the field, you don't really know what you're getting into.
No, you don't.
Yeah. So I applied for all sorts of different jobs and ended up getting an interview with a mobile crisis team on Long Island. And
Another one of my favorite places.
yeah, it's great. And I had no idea what mobile crisis meant, but the pay was decent. And the
And what
supervisor
does
was
mobile
great.
crisis mean? That you travel all over your little area
Yeah, your catchment area.
and
So
you go and see who's in crisis.
yeah, so people experiencing a mental health crisis, behavioral health crisis, substance use crisis, situational crisis. We really let people define the crisis. What the crisis to me might not be to you, and vice versa. So our whole job is to make sure that people are safe and that they have an alternative to calling 911 or going straight to the emergency room if they need mental health support.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Because they don't always know exactly what to do with people who are in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of us know we've got it down pat that 911 is there to support us, or the emergency room is a safe place where you can go. But that's not really always the best solution, right? There's a
What
lot.
is the best solution?
Well, I'm biased, but I would say calling us.
And I love the number.
Yeah. So that's with 988. We can talk a little bit about what the crisis continuum looks like. So I work for Sante,
Okay.
and Sante is a Maryland-based company that's been providing crisis services up there for a long time, since the 90s. And in 2006, somebody moved down here to Mecklenburg County and started a mobile crisis team down here. So we've been the sole provider administering this mobile crisis services for Mecklenburg County since 2006. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month and also our 20-year anniversary.
Yes. Oh, good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. So we're happy for that. But yeah, a little bit about the crisis continuum. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, SAMHSA. Some of you all heard about them. They, had been in the news, this administration. They kind of created this continuum of care. And it starts with someone to call, and then someone to respond, and then a place to go. So that someone to call is 988. That's formerly known as the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Okay. And I
Yeah.
didn't know they had one, but I'm glad to know that.
Yeah, it's been around for some time. I
Yeah.
can't say exactly how long, but I know that they switched to 988 in 2022. And the reason they switched to 988 is because it's an easy phone number to remember.
Well, 911 is too, but
Yeah.
you can't have everybody calling 911.
No, they're way overburdened
Yeah.
with all sorts of things. And law enforcement and ambulance is not always the appropriate response.
You need somebody who knows how to deal with somebody who's really in a trauma.
Yeah, exactly. So starts with 988. That's somebody you can call. They have the ability to dispatch, kind of like 911 dispatchers would. A little less technical than that, but they have the ability to dispatch mobile crisis teams, and that's where we come in for Mecklenburg County.
Okay.
Every county in North Carolina has their own. A lot of states also have been doing this, so a lot of states have their own mobile crisis teams. But and what that looks like is a team of mental health professionals that go out into the community and try to de-escalate people, provide that emotional support, and do that risk assessment to determine level of care. Just because somebody's experiencing suicidal or homicidal thoughts doesn't always mean they need to go to the hospital. So it's our role to kind of figure out that risk level.
Do they just sometimes need somebody to talk to?
Yes. And our average time that we spend on scene with people is 1 hour. And sometimes that's literally sitting on the ground with somebody, talking to them and, holding their hand.
I was going to say holding them.
Yeah. Because sometimes that's all people need.
That's right.
People need to be heard. They need to feel supported. And if you don't have those natural supports in place, or maybe you just don't want to utilize them, we're a great alternative.
Wow.
Mm.
You must go to bed just filled with gratitude of what you've done to help so many people that need it.
It's a hard, thankless job, I would say.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm incredibly grateful for the work. I'm incredibly grateful for the team that I have that are really the ones out there doing the work every day. I'm here just like I said to do these kinds of fun things, and they're the ones that are fielding these calls.
Oh, I'm sure you've done your share of
Yes,
that too.
yes, I have. Yeah. And it's challenging, but it certainly is rewarding, even if it's just able to make that connection with one person and make a difference with them.
We are going to have to take a break already.
I thought it was
I
fast.
told you that goes fast. Please stay with us. We will be back in a minute.
Good news lives here. It's community centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, it's another hot one, very summer-like around the Lake Norman area for our Tuesday afternoon. We'll get back into the low 90s, and then overnight we cool off, but really not all that much. It'll really feel like summer. Temperatures only fall down to around 70 around the lake and back up into the low 90s again for Wednesday. And by the second half of the work week, we're going to bring in a chance for a few scattered showers and storms. That's your forecast. From the Surf Pickleball and Kitchen on WSIC, meteorologist Chase Myers.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Spring is turning into summer around Lake Norman, and the calendar is filling up fast with live music, wellness events, and ways to connect with the community. First up, Low Impact Movement Studio is hosting Sunset Sculpt, a women-focused wellness event happening May 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Jetton Park. This sculpt-style Pilates class is designed for all experience levels and offers a first look at the studio's welcoming, community-centered approach to wellness. Bring a mat, enjoy the sunset, and move with the Lake Norman community. Next, make your Thursday night plans easy with live music Thursdays at the Serve Pickleball Plus Kitchen. Every Thursday from 6 until 9 p.m., local artists perform live while guests enjoy pickleball, food, drinks, and a laid-back Lake Norman atmosphere. And if you're looking for another reason to support local, King Canary Brewing Company is hosting Lake Norman Chamber Nights every second and fourth Tuesday evening. 15% of proceeds go directly back to support the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, making it a great excuse to grab a drink and support the local business community at the same time. Then, on May 21st at 6 p.m., the Ada Jenkins Center presents Music for Good, Love is the Answer at Boatyard LKN. This family-friendly fundraiser features live music from Blessed Union of Souls while raising support for programs serving local families across Cornelius, Davidson, and Huntersville. And finally, if healthy habits are on your summer checklist, check out Well is the New Wealth on May 28th from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. at Mitchell Community College. This free wellness event focuses on healthy eating and meal prep strategies, led by a registered dietitian. Plus, a light breakfast is included. For even more local events and community happenings, visit liveworkplaylkn.com.
Shining a light on who's making a difference. It's Community Centered, hosted by Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back to Community Centered. I am here with Rebecca Peacock, and I believe we have a call already.
All right.
Caller,
Hi, yes.
how can we help you?
Yeah, so my name's Kayla. I was just wondering, kind of new to the nonprofit space, but I saw you guys talking about Sante and just wondered, what do you guys think that people outside of crisis work may misunderstand maybe about the realities of what people are facing out in Mecklenburg County right now?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you
Yes.
for calling, Kayla. Yeah, I think that mental health has been quite a hot topic lately. And I think that people feel maybe that there aren't services here or that we're not doing enough. And while I agree that maybe we're not doing enough as much as, funding and things like that, which we could talk about later, I think it's just good to know that there are solutions and there are teams like Sante providing mobile crisis services to support the people, and that we come, in unmarked vehicles. We're not like law enforcement, and that we can really just come out there and spend time.
Which is wonderful. And I also
Mhm.
wanted to add the phone number if you wanted just to call and talk to somebody not in a crisis would be 704-566-3410. And again, that's 704-566-3410. If you are in a crisis, then definitely 988 is the three numbers that you need to call.
And they'll get you connected to
Yeah.
us.
Have we answered your question, or do you have more to ask us?
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling
you.
in.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And if you have a call, 844-STUDIO-4, we would love to talk to you. We're here to help you. So, why call the mobile crisis instead of the police?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I had mentioned it earlier that we're really trained to call the police for everything. They've really become
Yeah.
like the catch-all kind of. And sometimes that they are who needs to be called. But we know that mental health really deserves a mental health response. So
Yeah.
we want people that are trained in mental
It's
health.
not somebody who's doing something wrong or who has done
Exactly.
something wrong.
Yeah.
It's somebody who is in need of really good support and help.
Yeah. And, law enforcement is trained. They do the crisis intervention training.
Yeah.
It's a 40-hour course that they take. But again, it's, a different perspective, different mindset. And so, one, we can kind of divert. 911 is very overburdened and overworked. And so we can divert from that and have people call us instead.
How young do you take people?
So we do birth to death.
Okay.
Yeah. So there we really have no criteria. Again, what's a crisis to me might not be to you. So we get all sorts of calls from people experiencing suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts,
Yeah.
psychosis, substance use issues, as well as situational crises like housing insecurity, food insecurity. Johnny won't brush his teeth before bed and parents frustrated. You name it, we've probably been out there for it. Yeah. So there's no
Well, you
criteria.
can't get any dessert if you didn't brush your teeth.
Well, that's true. So yeah, it's a service that's at no cost to the community.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, really big. So insurance is not a barrier. We don't even ask for that information.
Okay.
We can talk a little bit after this about the funding of where it comes from because somebody's got to pay for it.
That's right.
Yeah,
But the person in crisis doesn't
correct.
get charged right away.
Nope. So people call as long as you're residing in Mecklenburg County. And again, every county has their own team that you could look up or call us and we'll get you connected. But in Mecklenburg County, so long as you live there, you can call us and we'll respond out. We don't respond out with law enforcement unless there's some safety concern.
Okay.
Yeah. So, if somebody has been aggressive in the past with others, or maybe they're threatening and they have a weapon, things like that, we might call just for our safety. It's only one of us going out there.
That's right. And you don't really know what you're walking into.
No. And I think that that's one of the hard things, but also the exciting things about the job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Now, and if you're a neighbor or whatever, and you're really worried about another neighbor who you know is having a problem, then you would call 988 and
Yeah.
have them come out and see if they're okay.
Yeah, so you could reach us through 988 or our hotline directly, which is the 704-566-3410 phone number.
Okay.
And again, our services, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to do wellness checks like law enforcement does. There's a few reasons for that. Well, one is safety, right? Where it's just one of us going out. We don't have weapons. We have a clipboard and a pen.
It's not a weapon.
No.
Thank heavens.
Right. So we aren't able to do wellness checks for safety reasons, but also our funding structure makes it really challenging.
So what's your website?
Yeah, it is the santegroup.org.
SANTE?
Yep, group.org.
.org.
Yep.
Okay.
So
And so that would be a great starting place.
yeah, on the website, it talks about the services that we provide. Again, not just here in North Carolina, but in Maryland. So there's a lot going on.
This is a innocent question, but does everybody who's in need of help know and understand sometimes that they need help?
No, I think that that's one of the biggest challenges.
I was going to say that's got to be a challenge
Mhm.
because if you don't really understand or know that you need help,
Yeah. So some of the symptoms of certain mental health issues, the lack of insight is kind of one of the things that go along with it. And so it can be challenging. And people have a right to live their life and have a right to self-determination. So we're not there to really control somebody or take their rights away. We really want to give them choice. Obviously, if safety comes into play, we have to, make sure that they're safe. But the other thing is really just spending time with somebody, spending that time and talking to them and seeing if they're able to kind of understand maybe the challenges
Yeah.
and maybe why their family or friends are concerned.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we also provide that support to the family as well.
Yeah.
It's stressful. Life is stressful.
But it has to be
Yeah.
for them and for you.
Yeah.
But again, you see how much you're doing to help people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's your payback. What gives you hope? This is a Debbie question.
Oh gosh, what gives me hope? I think that, again, I don't want to sound too corny. I know I've been talking about how great my team is, but
No.
seeing them and how passionate they are about the work and how skilled they are in the work gives me hope that we can, as a collective, make a difference.
But that gives people the security that you all know what you are doing
Mhm.
and will do the best job possible
Mm-hmm.
for somebody who really is in a traumatic place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, most of them have,
Because you don't know when you call somebody.
yeah, you don't know what you're getting.
You don't know what you're getting.
Yeah. And I think too, sometimes, you could call the same service on a different day. And so I think sometimes people get nervous because they don't know who's going to answer. And the one thing that we provide is quality, consistent services.
So if I hook up with one of your team
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still feeling like I'm in crisis, can I call back and ask for that same counselor?
Yeah. So yes and no. We all work together as a team, so we're all pretty aware of the different cases. Obviously, if you had a great interaction with somebody and you would prefer to interact with them, of course,
Yeah.
we want people to feel comfortable, but that person might not always be available. They might not be on
That's
shift
right.
because we don't
Yeah.
work. We don't all work 24/7. Somebody's there,
I
but
don't know why.
what they can do, we can all serve and assist. But we can also send messages and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do keep in touch with each other and share cases that you're working on so
Yeah.
other people can step in and help.
Yeah. When we're in the office, it's constant dialogue, constant bouncing each other ideas off of one another. The resources are really difficult in Mecklenburg County to navigate. Mental health resources, housing resources, everything. So they work really closely together to just kind of have that, two brains is better than one mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it must be hard when you can't help somebody. It must be very frustrating.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of one of the things that happens with this type of work. But going in and knowing that you're doing the best that you can.
Do you have commonality? Maybe teens have, a certain age or time when they're going through problems and seniors have problems at a certain age?
Yeah. We do work with a lot of teens. We work with CMS schools. And so we see, I could say that we see more teens, but I don't think that's true. I think
Okay.
it's the
all
whole,
over.
yeah,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
all over. I actually think our most served age is somewhere of 30 to 40s. Don't quote me on that, but
Okay.
I think it's somewhere around
And
there.
we're getting ready to take another break.
Oh
I
my
cannot
gosh.
believe how fast this is going. But it's a fascinating line of work that you do and just so very much needed.
And a line of work that a lot of people don't know exists.
I know.
Yeah. And we've been out here for 20 years doing it.
Oh, I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you.
Yeah. Again, if you're out there struggling, call 988 or 704-566-3410. We will be right back.
Well, it's another hot one, very summer-like around the Lake Norman area for our Tuesday afternoon. We'll get back into the low 90s, and then overnight we cool off, but really not all that much. It'll really feel like summer. Temperatures only fall down to around 70 around the lake and back up into the low 90s again for Wednesday. And by the second half of the work week, we're going to bring in a chance for a few scattered showers and storms. That's your forecast. From the Serve Pickleball and Kitchen, I'm WSIC meteorologist Chase Myers.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the Macintosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshlawFirm.com.
Order up. The Serve Pickleball Plus Kitchen in Cornelius is where sport and food are paired perfectly with philanthropy. Come play, dine, celebrate, and connect. No membership required. All ages welcome. Eat, play, serve it forward. Visit theservepickleball.com.
The change of seasons is tough on your system. Dust, wear, and cold snaps test its strength. Let Horn Heating and Air Conditioning prep your home before the holidays, so your heat will be ready when you need it most. Fall into the season of ah. Visit hornhvac.com, where your comfort is our business.
Feeling stressed? Can't focus? It's not just in your head, it's in your brain. Dr. Tim Royer shows you how to reset and refocus on Your Brain Matters. Thursdays at 4 on WSIC. Listen live, on air, online, or on the WSIC News app.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
The Ugly Antenna has now become a household name in this area. The Ugly Antenna allows those without a streaming provider to receive up to 50 channels absolutely free of charge, including Fox 46.1. The Ugly Antenna is small and connects directly to your TV. Get the Ugly Antenna for just $40. Call 704-682-1755. That's 704-682-1755 for the Ugly Antenna.
Don't miss a thing. Download the WSIC News app today. WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The negative sentiment on Wall Street today coming from new worries about inflation. Meantime, on your mark, get set. Travel. United Airlines says it's seeing double-digit gains in bookings for the summer compared to a year ago, with more than 53 million air travelers expected on United this summer. And watch out, it sees nearly 4 million flyers this coming holiday weekend. Some changes at Google's YouTube, including a new design for its iconic search box and new artificial intelligence coding tools. Google has updated its search engine with agents that can help you do things like track topics of interest, make reservations, and monitor your health, and also some features limited to paying YouTube subscribers. Google also rolling out several new tools for developers to write code. And ahead of Father's Day, the makers of Fireball Whiskey are selling a Dad Bod whiskey fanny pack for $25. It resembles a rather hairy, shirtless belly and contains a small bottle of Fireball. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Friendly reminder, don't brake when you see the lake.
WSIC. Local starts here.
Shining a light on who's making a difference. It's Community Centered, hosted by Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back. I have a little bit of a question because you work 24/7. Not you personally, but your team.
Mm-hmm.
Every day of the week.
Yeah.
All year round.
Yep.
What do you do when you get like overwhelmed? How do you defrag?
Yeah. So I think that that's something that takes some time to figure out and
Yeah.
maybe changes over the course of your
Everybody
career.
goes exercise. Well, that's not defragging for me. That's more of a stress.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was going to say exercise, but that is really is for me. But another one is just knowing when I need to unplug.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and pick up a good book or do some
Yeah.
listen to some good music.
hmm And when maybe I need to take some time up, overseeing a program, you're kind of always on call,
Yeah,
to kind of
you
put
are.
out fires. But really knowing, like, hey, I need to take some time and I'm not going to be available. And, whether that's a day or a long week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, that's kind of what's been really helpful. And also, having a team where you guys can talk about what's going on, what you're seeing, a good sense of humor.
And ask them how they're dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
did you deal with that?
I think that that's been really, really helpful.
Yeah, I do. I think so too.
Doing this work by yourself would be hard.
I think it'd be very hard.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to be in how they're feeling alone.
Yeah. And I think that that's one of the benefits of us being in office. So many jobs are remote these days.
That's right.
But having, nobody wants to come into the office, but once you're there, being able to have that dialogue back and forth and joke and really get to know one another, I think is also really helpful.
A hug is always very a good thing too.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what about fundraising? You don't charge anybody for this help, but it takes money to run it.
It does. So in the state of North Carolina, every managed Medicaid entity, it's a little bit confusing, but the federal government gives the state money and then they kind of distribute it through these managed Medicaid entities. Here in Mecklenburg County, our tailored plan is with Alliance Medicaid. And so they're the funder of Mobile Crisis.
Okay.
They merely just kind of distribute the funds, but all of the model of it comes from the state. And so it's a fee-for-service model, which seems a little confusing. But what that means is that we get paid, but we only get paid when we speak to somebody for 15 minutes, or we go out and make contact with them and spend 15 minutes or more. And we're able to get, at minimum, name and date of birth. But we know that sometimes when people are in a crisis, they might not know that information. They might
Okay.
not be able to reproduce it. They might not feel comfortable sharing it. There's a lot of reasons of why we're unable to obtain it, especially if people are calling us just for phone support and not us going out into the community. So what happens is we provide a lot of unbillable services. So last fiscal year, we provided over $650,000 of unbillable services. It's a lot of money.
Wow.
And so the funding structure is just really challenging because on one hand, we have this firehouse model. They're 24/7, 365, but we're only getting paid when we're doing certain things. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. And that would almost be like the firemen sitting in the firehouse and going out on calls. But we know that they go out on calls for everything, right? Car accidents,
They
cats
do,
stuck in
yeah.
trees, things like that. But they would only get paid if there were actual flames there.
Oh my gosh.
That's the analogy I like to give it. It's like, well, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
They have to be paid to be sitting there to do the work if they're needed. And so the funding structure is a little bit challenging. Working really hard. We're a nonprofit, so working really hard on securing any additional funds through grants, local cities, counties, things like that.
Do you have any fundraisers?
We have not. Sometimes it takes money to make money.
That's right. Yeah.
And so we're throwing around some ideas. We have a way that people can donate through our website, thesantegroup.org. And, it doesn't need to be large sums. I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of operational costs. We have vehicles. Mecklenburg County is pretty big. We sit in a lot of traffic. And so even if it's $20 or, well, more like $50 now to fill up a tank of gas, that's helpful. Just really anything. If it's supplies for the office or, supplies for the team to get new uniforms, things like that. Any little bit of money is helpful.
Yeah.
hmm Because it's tough out there.
It
We're
is
working
tough out
hard
there.
to try to work with the state and the county to acknowledge that the funding model of this, and again, it's not just Sante who experiences this, it's every provider across the
And
state.
I can see too, if you have a client that several people are working with, that's a great support group too, because you
Mhm.
can all help each other on what you did that sort of clicked with them
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
what you did that didn't click or,
Yeah.
did not.
Oh, yeah, with our team. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if we've seen the client before, we'll kind of
Because
touch
you probably
base.
can't talk outside your team about what's going on with
No.
people. I mean,
Yeah.
you're just not allowed to.
No, yeah, we fall under the HIPAA
The HIPAA,
guidelines.
yeah.
Yeah. So obviously within team, we can
Yeah.
talk about it, which is really helpful. Sometimes, you'll see them kind of communicating back and forth around, like you had said, what helped last time, maybe what was a trigger to the person.
Yeah.
We try to provide very trauma-informed care. So just knowing all of that information is really
But
helpful.
I just, kids have had so much stress
Mm-hmm.
with COVID and not being able to go to school, and then, the shootings and all the things that they're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
If I were a child, I'd say to my mother, I'm not going to school.
We do see that a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd want to be homeschooled.
Yeah. And I think the schools are doing a lot. I mean, it's just a huge issue, but they're doing as much as they can around providing school-based therapy. And, we get calls from schools all day long.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah. And so they're doing a good job, but it's an overwhelming need. And so I feel like even if you had endless amounts of resources, it still might not feel like enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it just takes a lot of awareness for people to know that these services are here, and also to maybe understanding a little bit about the nuances with it and how we might be struggling because of funds.
Yeah. Now, do you go to the schools and talk to the kids?
Yeah. So we go anywhere in the community.
Okay.
So schools, homes, we go to homes most of the time.
Yeah.
It could be your workplace, the
Retirement villas.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. The only places we're not allowed to go would be inside the jail because they have their own providers
Right.
there. Inside the hospital because, again, they have their own providers.
Yeah.
And really inside any residential treatment facility. So if it was like a behavioral health hospital or something like that, we wouldn't go. But anywhere else, fair game.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine.
7-Eleven, the
Yeah.
grocery store. Yeah.
It's everywhere, isn't it?
It is. Mental health, we always talk about reducing the stigma, but I think we've gone, we've done okay with that, but then I think there might be incidences that happened that almost bring it back, the incident that happened with the woman on the light rail. And I think that kind of re-stigmatizes it a little bit. And, the reality of it is that mental health doesn't discriminate. People across all race, ethnicities, socioeconomic status can experience mental health issues. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just knowing when to ask for help and where to go for that support. And that's why, I'm incredibly grateful that you invited me to come talk about this today, because
Well,
I think
it's
the awareness is
invaluable.
important.
Again, 988 if you are experiencing a crisis. Another break. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Spotlight and kindness, one story at a time. It's community centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle, presented by the Macintosh Law Firm on WSIC.
Well, it's another hot one, very summer-like around the Lake Norman area for our Tuesday afternoon. We'll get back into the low 90s, and then overnight we cool off, but really not all that much. It'll really feel like summer. Temperatures only fall down to around 70 around the lake and back up into the low 90s again for Wednesday. And by the second half of the work week, we're going to bring in a chance for a few scattered showers and storms. That's your forecast. From the Surf Pickleball and Kitchen, I'm WSIC meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Spring is turning into summer around Lake Norman, and the calendar is filling up fast with live music, wellness events, and ways to connect with the community. First up, Low Impact Movement Studio is hosting Sunset Sculpt, a women-focused wellness event happening May 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Jetton Park. This sculpt-style Pilates class is designed for all experience levels and offers a first look at the studio's welcoming, community-centered approach to wellness. Bring a mat, enjoy the sunset, and move with the Lake Norman community. Next, make your Thursday night plans easy with live music Thursdays at the Serve Pickleball Plus Kitchen. Every Thursday from 6 until 9 p.m., local artists perform live while guests enjoy pickleball, food, drinks, and a laid-back Lake Norman atmosphere. And if you're looking for another reason to support local, King Canary Brewing Company is hosting Lake Norman Chamber Nights every second and fourth Tuesday evening. 15% of proceeds go directly back to support the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, making it a great excuse to grab a drink and support the local business community at the same time. Then, on May 21st at 6 p.m., the Ada Jenkins Center presents Music for Good, Love is the Answer at Boatyard LKN. This family-friendly fundraiser features live music from Blessed Union of Souls while raising support for programs serving local families across Cornelius, Davidson, and Huntersville. And finally, if healthy habits are on your summer checklist, check out Well is the New Wealth on May 28th from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. at Mitchell Community College. This free wellness event focuses on healthy eating and meal prep strategies, led by a registered dietitian. Plus, a light breakfast is included. For even more local events and community happenings, visit liveworkplaylkn.com.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshlawfirm.com.
Real people making a real impact. The Macintosh Law Firm brings you community-centered, right here on WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back. Debbie, we missed you. I hope you had a wonderful time with your mom. And I would just like to say, if you have a nonprofit and we need to interview you, give Reese a call at 844 Studio 4. He's sitting there waiting very anxiously for your call. And we're finishing up our time. Oh my gosh, this just went so fast.
Good.
With Rebecca Peacock, Director of Mecklenburg County Crisis Response. I'm in a crisis, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And I know to call you, I've got your number, or I've got your 988.
Mm-hmm.
What's the experience I'm going to have when I call you? I would be scared to death.
Yeah, I think it's a really scary thing to reach out for help if you're having an issue or your family members having an issue, especially if you've tried to reach out before and you've had negative experiences. So yeah, people reach our hotline through the 704-566-3410 phone number, gets you connected to us there at Sante. And there is somebody on our team that will answer the phone 24/7. 24/7.
Okay.
So they answer the phone, and what they're going to do is try to get a little bit of information around what's going on. Like if you're calling about yourself or a family member.
Yeah.
Get a little bit information, kind of triage the situation, gather some basic demographic information. So name, date of birth, address. Obviously, we need an address to know where we're going. Phone numbers, that kind of stuff. And then make sure that the person is safe on the phone. Make sure that they're okay for us to disconnect while we kind of gather our stuff and get in the
Yeah,
car. And if they're not, then, we can have somebody stay on the line with them.
Okay.
Come up with these short-term safety plans. If someone's experiencing suicidal thoughts, can we remove something from the home to make it a little bit more safe? Can we call somebody else in the meantime? Things like that. And then the intake worker will pass the information off to the mobile crisis specialist that will respond out into the community. They'll get that information, usually call and touch base with the person just to let them know our exact ETA. Traffic can be crazy.
That's right.
So it could be 3 miles in, 40
And
minutes.
you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, exactly. Touch base with them. And also during that phone call, like we're kind of hearing like, okay, how are they sounding right now? You're listening, for different changes in tone of voice and things like that. And then we show up. And again, we show up in Toyota Corollas, so nothing crazy. We have magnets on the side that say Sante Crisis Response with
Okay.
our phone number, but again, they're magnets, so they can come off if people would prefer a little bit more discretion.
Okay.
But it's pretty like a calm scene, right? We're not showing up lights and sirens or anything like that. We have shirts that are navy or black and they just say Sante across the chest. So again, nothing too crazy looking. And we will go inside, talk to the collateral, talk to family members in the home about what's been going on if needed, and then sit down and talk with that person of concern. Again, it's not, we're not automatically calling law enforcement to show up to your house. Like I had mentioned earlier, if there are some immediate safety concerns, of course, we're going to do what we have to. But, they're really highly trained in this work and trained in risk assessment and how to keep people safe while also diverting from the hospital and law enforcement. So once we get there, we'll talk, provide that emotional support, risk
Well,
assessment.
you just don't know what you're walking into, do you?
No, and sometimes you think it's going to be one thing and it's really the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, dogs. I think my very first mobile crisis call that I ever went out on, there was a bird. I don't like birds. And the bird came flapping its wings at me and I'm dodging it. And I'm like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really special that people let us into their homes because you really get to see person and environment, which is very different than, being in a therapist's office and having a person come in. Still helpful and good, but we really get to see so much by being in their space.
Sure do.
So with each dispatch that we have into the community, and last year we responded to the community 728 times, and with each of those contacts, then we have other contacts because we are doing follow-up phone calls. Everybody that we see gets one follow-up phone call 24 hours ideally after the initial crisis. So it could be whoever we see or talk to. It doesn't always have to be in person. But we're following up with them. And the reason for that is to just continue that support. And also if people need to get connected to ongoing services and support, we're just trying to make sure that they're getting that. So it's at least one follow-up phone call, unless you don't want it. It could also be an in-person follow-up.
Yeah.
And then from there, we do provide kind of like short-term case management to make sure people are getting what they needed.
Yeah.
So I think last fiscal year between our incoming phone calls and our outgoing follow-ups, it was around 9,000.
Wow.
So it's busy. It
You're
keeps us
touching
busy.
a lot of
Yeah.
people.
And, sometimes, again, due to funding constraints, we might have one person serving the whole county. So
That's got to be exhausting.
it is. And they do a really great job doing the best that they can and showing up and serving everybody. Our average response time is 45 minutes, which we're proud of because, again, sometimes we're coming, we're in Cornelius.
That's
You
right.
might have a call down in Pineville at 5 p.m. It's like, how are you going to get down
That's
there?
right.
Yeah. So we're really proud of our 45-minute response time, consistently always working to be faster. But it's challenging unless you have a satellite office in
That's
North
right.
Mecklenburg County or you have 10 people responding out at one time. It's just the reality of it.
Wow, I wouldn't even want to be working the switchboard because that's got to be an exhausting job as well.
Yeah, the way our team is structured is we actually don't have just one particular person who only works the phone. We all kind of rotate through working the phone and going out into the community.
Okay.
It used to be the other way, but I think it's really helpful to provide quality services because that way the people that go into the field know what it's like to be on the phone.
Well,
people
that
on the
one
phone.
first phone call is the most important.
Yes. And, I think another option too is reaching out to us, even if you're not in a crisis, but you just want to know, hey, what is it going to be like when I call? Maybe you give us a call as part of your safety plan or just call us to say hi.
Yeah.
And just reach out before it gets to the point where you're having, a serious mental health crisis. Again, our phone number is our direct number. 988 is easier to remember. But yeah, I always tell people reach out before the crisis happens if you want to just see what it's like.
I think that's so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's a scary process. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of people will have time because they're building up to this crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. We see.
And if you can get it sooner rather than later, maybe you can get the help that you need and work towards a solution faster.
Yeah. And, sometimes it's just nice to have some people in your corner, right?
I think today that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah, I agree. It's a stressful time.
Yeah, it is.
That we live in, and going into the summer, we have less calls from schools in the summer just because kids aren't in school.
That's right. Yeah.
But it definitely stays pretty busy year round because, those children that are in the schools still have needs once they're back in the community.
And they still have feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we really enjoy the opportunity to do things like this. And we do a lot of community resource fairs just because so many people are like, well, how would I know to call you? And I'm like, well, doing things like this.
Yeah.
If you search like mental health crisis or crisis team, our Sante's numbers who would come up. The state of North Carolina also has a website where you can search your zip code and the crisis team in your county will come up. So people could know then. But yeah, we try to be in the community, dropping our brochures off with people, doing community resource events all across the county, and really just trying to let people know that we're here, that we also need support through funding, but that we're here and, we're going to continue to show up.
Well, I commend you for what you're doing. You are doing some great things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that one of the great things about Mecklenburg County is that there are so many resources here. The problem is there's not a lot of communication between them. So I think it's just really getting that awareness out there and talking about it. So this is such a great podcast because it really brings in all the different nonprofits and gives people a voice.
Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you. I'm really, really grateful to be here.
Yeah. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next week. Always Tuesday from 3 to 4. Bye for now.
Great radio doesn't end here. Catch the full episode and dive or into our archives on the WSIC News app.
WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. Statesville, Lake Norman's home for Charlotte FC. WSIC.